In this lecture, we will discuss the analysis of beam by flexibility matrix method. Before stepping into the problem, first we study about the steps involved in flexibility matrix method. So, while solving any problem in flexibility matrix method, first we have to convert the given indeterminate structure into determinate structure, which is called primary structure, by removing all the redundant forces. Then we have to assign numbers, that is system coordinates, at wherever we remove redundant reactions. Then using unit load method, we have to calculate moments for external loads as well as unit loads acting at system coordinates. So once we have the moments, then we can go for the determination of deflections due to applied loads, then displacements due to unit loads, which are also called as flexibility coefficients, to obtain the flexibility matrix using direct flexibility matrix approach. Once we have all these data, then we can solve the compatibility equation to determine the redundant forces. Once redundant forces are known, then we can use equilibrium equations to find out the values of other reactions. Finally, we can plot the bending moment diagram. So this is the problem statement. Analyze the continuous beam by the flexibility matrix method. We have three supports A, B, C. A support is fixed, B and C supports are roller. And we have UDL of 60 kilonewton per meter over AB span and concentric point load of 100 kilonewton on BC span. As the first step in solving this problem using flexibility matrix method, first we have to find out the redundant forces. How many redundant forces the structure has? What are the forces can be considered as redundant forces? That we have to decide first. After that, by removing those redundant forces, we will get the determinate structure, also called as primary structure, on which we will solve or we will apply the flexibility matrix method. So in this problem, total number of reactions is equal to here 3 at support A because of fixed, and at support B we have only 1 because of roller. At support C we have 1. So totally 5 reactions. And total number of equilibrium equations available for this structure is equal to 3. That means sigma m is equal to 0, sigma v is equal to 0, and sigma h is equal to 0. Therefore, degree of static indeterminacy ds is equal to capital R minus capital E. Okay. So therefore df is equal to capital R minus capital E, which is equal to 5 minus 3 is equal to 2. Therefore, two reactions are extra in this case, which makes the structure indeterminate. So any two reactions out of these 5 can be considered redundant, but after removing those redundant, the structure should be stable. That's the only condition for the selection of redundant forces. Therefore, let RB and RC as redundants. Here, I am always trying to make the structure simple cantilever. That leaves the calculation and other process in a simplified manner. So, always try to make the structure as far as possible cantilever, so that we will have one end free, the other end is fixed. So that's why here I have chosen the RB and RC as redundant. So the primary structure is, a cantilever structure. Now the RB reactions, RB and RC are acting as an external loads, external reactions. Okay, so that is now shown in pink color. Okay, simply giving unknown names, for example say x1 and x2. Even you can write RB and RC, no problem. So this is the primary structure or determinate structure on which we will apply the matrix method, flexibility matrix method. So the next step is to assign some coordinate number starting from 1 to the points where we remove the redundant reactions. That means at point B and at point C. So system coordinates 1 is assigned to the point or junction B, and the system coordinate 2 is assigned to C, where we remove RB and RC. Okay. So the next step is to calculate the moments. This is the table for the moment calculation purpose. The first column is number, the second one is span, that is the member span. The limit is the end and start point of the span. Capital M is the moment due to external loads. Remember, while calculating max, that is capital M, we have to remove all the redundant forces, just only external loads. Then small m1 is the moment due to the unit load alone acting at system coordinate 1. Okay. So in this case, in this process, we have to remove all the external loads, all the redundant forces. Just we have to apply unit load at system coordinate 1. Similarly, small m2 is nothing but the moment due to unit load acting at system coordinate 2. Here also we have to remove all other loads. only unit load at 2, system connect 2 is active. Okay. So in this problem we have, see, based on this, we have 3 spans, okay, or 3 members. Okay. See, for example, this I give the point, this the name here, E point, okay, as E point, where the load 100 kN is active, so that we can get 3 spans, that is EC, the span from the point load and the free end, and B and E, BE span, okay. Next one is AB span. And remember, in all the spans, the loads are constant, so that we will have the moment calculation, single moment calculation. Okay. For example, say, suppose if you consider BC as a single span, then you will get 2 different MX6 moment equations. One on C, between this point load and C, and between point B and this load. 2 different. So that to avoid such situation, we consider this also as a point. Therefore, make this section as a single span, single number. For example, say EC. So next number is EB. Here the entire, the UDL is acting over the entire span. Therefore, we consider the AB as a single span. Therefore, the first span is EC from free end to where the point load is acting, 100 kN. So I measure from the free end, and the limit is equal to 0 to 1.5 meter. Clear? And capital M is nothing but the external moment, moment due to external loads. As per the moment definition, we can consider the right side of the section, because on the left side of the section we have so many external loads and the unknown moments, MA, unknown reactions, RA. So to avoid such a situation, we focus only on the right side of the section where we have no external loads. Therefore, capital M is equal to 0 for number EC. Now for M1, we have to remove all the external loads. Just we have to apply unit load at system connect 1. System connect 1 means at B point. But our section is here, the unit load is acting here. Again, considering only right side of the section, there is still no load. Therefore, M1, small m1 is also 0 in this case. So next, M2, small m2. Small m2 is nothing but the moment due to the unit load acting at system coordinate 2. System coordinate 2 is nothing but the C point. Therefore, here we have to apply a unit load along the direction of the redundant force RC. That means acting upward. Therefore, on the right side of the section XX, we have this unit load acting at CC point. Therefore, we will have moment due to this unit load at C about XX. But this unit load is acting in upward direction. Therefore, it will develop a positive moment. That means plus 1 into X. X is the distance between C point and the section, and 1 is the force value, unit load. Therefore, plus 1 into x is equal to plus x. Now consider BE. Okay. Here also the same procedure we have to adopt. So draw a section in BE member. Still we are measuring from C point, that is free end. Therefore the limit is nothing but at E, x value will be 1.5 meter. At B, x value will be 3.0 meter. That is our limit. Capital M is nothing but the moment about x axis due to all external loads. But on the right side of the section, we have only one external load, which is 100 kilonewton, acting at E point. And it is acting downward direction, therefore it is a negative moment, therefore minus 100 into this distance between E point and the section. But we are measuring the section from C point, therefore this distance is equal to x minus this distance, x minus 1.5. And again small m1 is nothing but unit load acting at B point. So we don't have any load on the right side, then unit load is acting at B, therefore still small m1 is equal to 0 for BE member. Now apply unit load at C point, take moments about x axis, therefore we have plus x, that is plus 1 into x plus x. Now consider the next section member AB. Okay, here we have a point that I think missing that part. Okay, so so we have UDL over AB, and still we are measuring the section from C point, that is free end. Therefore at B we have x value 3 meter, at A we have x value 7 meter. Therefore limit is 3 to 7. And we have two external loads, one is point load which is 100 kilonewton acting downward, and the part of UDL acting downward. Therefore minus 100 into this distance, that means x minus this 1.5 meter. Then minus 60 is the intensity of the UDL, 60 into this distance. This is x and this is 3 meter. From B to C is 3 meter. Therefore x minus 3 will be the distance between B and section. Therefore x minus 3 into x minus 3 by 2. Again small m1 is nothing but the unit load acting at B. Okay, but we are section is having section at this distance. So on the right side we have that unit load acting at B and is upward direction. Therefore plus x minus 3 plus 1 into this distance. So from C to section is x, from C to B is 3 meter. Therefore B to the section x axis is x minus 3. So plus into 1 into x minus 3. Similarly, now we have to place the unit load at point C acting up in upward direction. Therefore, the moment due to this unit load about this section x axis is nothing but plus 1 into x, which is plus x. So once we have this data, then the further steps are very easy. Just substitution in the expression, in the integral expression, then integrating the expression will give directly the coefficients. So the next step is deflections due to loads. In general, delta IL is equal to integral of capital M small mi divided by EI into dx, where I is the system coordinate, where we measure the deflection due to external loads. So capital M is the moment due to external load. Small m is the moment due to unit load acting at ith coordinate. Okay, ith means the same. For example, suppose if you consider first coordinate, then delta 1L. Similarly here M1. See here at coordinate 1, delta 1L is nothing but integral of capital M small m1 divided by Ei into dx. So this is the product. Capital M and small m1 is the product. Therefore in the table we have to search wherever both values are non-zero, only that sections will come into the picture in the integral expression. Okay. So here for such member EC both values are 0. Therefore this span will not come in the expression. And for B here m1 is 0. Therefore the product of capital N and small m1 will be 0. Therefore this part will not come into the picture. Only number AB will have the place in the expression. Okay, that means only AB member has both capital M and small m1 non-zero values. So substituting that AB span, that is 3 to 7 limits. This is the capital M, this is a small m. So once integration is over, you will get delta 1L is equal to minus 52, that is 5253.33 divided by En. Similarly, the same procedure we have to adopt at coordinate 2 also. Therefore, delta 2L is equal to integral of capital M small m2 divided by Ei into dx. For here we have two expressions, two spans, that is AB span as well as BE span. Both are zero, non-zero. So which is equal to minus 11654.58 divided by En. So we have only two system coordinates and we have calculated deflection due to loads at both system coordinates. So the next step is to find out or to populate the direct, that is flexibility matrix, by direct flexibility matrix approach. So the general expression for displacement coefficient is small delta ij is equal to integral of small mi small mj divided by Ei into dx. Therefore, small delta 11 is equal to integral of m1 small m1 divided by Ei into dx. So we have to substitute here the non-zero m1 values, that is only for AB section, AB member. Therefore 3 to 7, the limit of AB member, because we are measuring x value from free end. Then here this is the m1 value, x minus 3. Again we have to repeat m1 value divided by Ei into dx, which is equal to 64 over 3 Ei. So next we have to calculate the next element. Okay, del 1 2, which is also equal to delta 2 1, is equal to integral of small m1 into small m2 divided by Ei into dx. So here also only the number AB has both values non-zero. Therefore only that section will come into this place. So 3 to 7, the limit of AB member, and this is the value of small m1 on the member AB. This is the value of small m2 on the member AB. So divided by EI into dx, which is equal to 136 over 3 EI. Next, delta 22 is equal to integral of m22 into m22 divided by EI into dx. So here all the members have non-zero m2 value. Therefore we have to include all EC member, BE member and AB member. Therefore 0 to 1.5 x squared divided by EI into dx plus 1.5 to 3 again 6 squared by EI into dx plus 3 to 7 x squared by EI into dx, or 0 to 7 x squared by EI dx. Everything same. So which is equal to 114.33 divided by EI. Therefore, the flexibility matrix delta is equal to 1 by EI common term, so we take outside. Therefore 64 divided by 3, 136 divided by 3, 136 divided by 3, 343 by 3. So this is the flexibility matrix. Next step is compatibility equation. That is delta, small delta P is equal to capital delta minus capital delta L. Therefore redundant force P matrix is equal to small delta inverse, that means the inverse of stiffness matrix into flexibility matrix into capital delta minus capital delta L. So in this problem redundant forces are RB and RC. Therefore P matrix is nothing but RB RC equal to the flexibility matrix inverse so this is the flexibility matrix, and this is the delta, that is the final displacement at B and C. In this problem there is no sinking of supports, therefore delta is equal to 0 0 minus delta L. There is a deflection due to loads already we computed, so that value is minus. So minus minus plus, here also minus minus plus. Therefore we get RB is equal to 188.25 kilonewton, RC is equal to 27.29 kilonewton. So once we know these values, we can easily find out other unknowns reactions, that is MA and RA, using the equilibrium equations. MA is equal to 0 and sigma V is equal to 0. So it comes under force calculation. So this is the diagram with all notations, possible notations, and C support is hinge support, therefore there is no moment at all. But at B joint is intermediate joint, therefore we will have moment at both sides equal to opposite moments MB. And this is a fixed support, that is A support is fixed support, therefore we have MA reaction. Then RA reaction we have RB reaction at B, RC reaction at C. Both RB and RC are found. Therefore the remaining reactions are MA and RA, and we have two equilibrium equations at hand. That means sigma M is equal to 0 and sigma P is equal to 0. So two equations, two unknowns, therefore we can easily solve. So considering sigma V is equal to 0, RA plus RB plus RC is equal to 60 into 4 plus 100. Therefore, RA is equal to 124.46 kilonewton. So now apply sigma MA is equal to 0. That means we have to equate all the clockwise moments one side, and the other side we have to group all other anti-clockwise moments. Therefore, (100 into 5.55) about A point, that means making clockwise moments. Then 60 into 4 into 4 by 2, also clockwise moments, is equal to this RC into 4 plus 3, 7 meter, then RB into 4 meter. Therefore, plus MA, of course. MA is also acting in anti-clockwise direction. Therefore, MA is equal to 85.97 kilonewton meter. Now to find out the moment MB, consider the member BC or AB, anyone, or you can take moments about joint B or support B. Either way you can calculate the moment at P. Here we consider the free body diagram of BC member with all possible notation. So on BC member we have one point load, and at C is a hinge support, therefore there is no moment. B is the intermediate support, therefore we will have some moment. We assume initially that MB is acting in clockwise direction on BC member. Now considering moment at B, that means sigma MP is equal to 0. Again we are grouping clockwise moment and anti-clockwise moment. Therefore, MB is a clockwise moment. Then 100 kilonewton also developing clockwise moment about B. So 100 into 1.5 is equal to RC, anti-clockwise moment, RC into 3. Therefore, MB is equal to minus 68.13 kilonewton meter. That means the moment at B, so here we are getting minus sign, therefore actually the bending moment at B is acting in anti-clockwise direction as far as the member BC is concerned. Therefore, on member AB or BA, the moment MP is acting in opposite direction, that is in anti-clockwise clockwise direction, as far as the member BA is concerned. So we have all the data, so we can start the bending moment drawing. So to help in drawing the bending moment diagram, okay, I put all the possible moments in the appropriate direction. That means at A we have anti-clockwise moment, at B we have clockwise moment over AB member, anti-clockwise moment over BC member. But the same numerical amount is same, 68.1. At C point we don't have any moment because of hinge support. Now we can draw first this support moments. So first to draw the profile of the beam ABC. Here it is shown in black color. Now note down the points of support moment. At A we have minus because anti-clockwise is minus. Therefore we go to specify above the AB line. Then this is on the left side. On the right side we have clockwise, therefore it is again above the line. Just to join both lines we will get the support moment over AB span. Similarly, the same procedure we have to adopt over BC span. So again, so this is the red color diagram is for support moments, over which we have to overlap the simple support moment. For UDL it is a parabolic distribution. So the maximum is 120 at midspan of AB, and for point load it is a triangular distribution, and maximum moment is 75 kN under the point load 100 kN. Okay. So the crossed sections are nullified and the remaining sections are the balance moment. So this is the end of this lecture.